Hi, guys. Welcome back. Today we are wrapping up and finishing our unit about main idea and key details. And today we're going to take everything that we have learned this week and we're going to try to put it together so that we can figure out the main idea of a passage. Now, I don't want you to think that this is the last time you're ever going to hear main idea, because you are going to be hearing this continue throughout our learning with nonfiction, as well as when we revisit fiction later on in the year, we'll be talking about main idea. Today, just to activate your schema again, I'm going to show you a little video on main idea, and then I'm going to show you some strategies that you can use, two strategies you can use to help you figure out what the main idea of a text is. So let's go ahead and start activating our schema and get our brain thinking about all the things that we've learned so far this week.
Hi, amazing students. This is Mrs. Norgard from White Oak School. Today we're going to learn about finding the main idea in nonfiction texts. What is the main idea? It's what the text is mostly about. It's the most important central point. The main idea will help us remember the important things we're reading about. One reading strategy for finding the main idea in a large portion of text is to look at the title, pictures, and other text features. What do they have in common? Also, look for that pop-out sentence, the one that might actually also explain what's happening on the page. Another reading strategy for finding the main idea is stop after you read a chunk of text, then think, what is this mostly about? Look for that pop-out sentence. Look for words that repeat or have similar meaning. Then say the main idea in a sentence. Now it's your turn to practice. Look at the subheading. Read the text.
It says
words that
size and shape. Gorillas are the largest apes on Earth. Males are always bigger than females. Some male gorillas weigh up to 300 and 400 pounds.
Large and big. See word shape. Shape again. What will your sentence be for the main idea? Mine is gorillas are large and unusually shaped apes. Thank you for learning about the main idea with me.
All right, so really good video to help us just get to thinking about
Hi, amazing students. This is Mrs. Norgard.
The main idea, and I do that every single time. For some reason, it always wants to start back. Let's look at our learning target. So we've had this similar target all week. It says I want to locate, or I can locate and identify who or what the text is about. That is really the key point to finding the main idea, even though that's not the success criteria. But the key to finding the main idea is just to locate who or what is it about. So I can identify the main idea of the entire text. I will know I have it when I can write the main idea of a different paragraph by taking notes or answering questions about the text. And we can also use some strategies to help get us focused. So here again, we're talking about main topic versus main idea. So a topic is whales. One word just kind of wraps the whole thing up. But the main idea is whales have interesting features that help it to survive. So I could say that the main idea is whales, but really that's more of the topic. What is the whole passage about? Well, I learned that there are features that help the whales survive. Its skin, its blowhole, all of these things that I'm learning about, that is helping it to survive. Now, I don't want you to get so worried, Mrs. Stuck, I'm not going to be able to write the main idea. Right now, I just want you to be able to find it. Just want you to be able to say, you know what, this whole passage is about this. You don't have to specifically write a main idea yet. You just have to find it. So let me help you with a couple of strategies on how to find the main idea. So here is just a little strategies cloud, and there are two things, which she talked about one of them in the video. The first one is a pop-out sentence. A pop-out sentence is really the same as a jump out sentence. It's that sentence that just jumps out at you and it tells you what is happening in the passage or what is the whole passage about. Let me give you a tip. It's not as hard as it looks because usually a pop out sentence or a jump out sentence is the first sentence or the first two sentences. Those first couple of sentences are going to be the key main idea focus for the passage. Let me show you an example. So here's a pop out sentence. It says a pop out sentence is a sentence that tells you what the whole paragraph is about. It stands out, excuse me, it stands out or gives you an overview of what the whole paragraph is about. It's usually the first sentence. So Mrs. Dec, you're saying I only have to read the first sentence, right? Well, good try. No. So we have to read the whole paragraph, the whole section, to see if we can figure out what the pop-out sentence is. Now, I don't think you're off the track if you do look at that first sentence and you're like, I think this is the main idea. I think this is the pop-out sentence, but I'm going to keep reading to make sure that everything still goes back to that first sentence. Does it still tell me what the sentence is about? Let me show you. So on the side, I have just a little paragraph about an octopus. It says the octopus has a body unlike any other animal. So if I'm telling myself the first sentence is my pop-out sentence, the octopus has a body unlike any other animal, then the rest of this paragraph should talk about the octopus body. Let's see if it does. Its body is called the mantle, a soft and shaped, it is soft and shaped like a bag. The octopus can squeeze itself into very small spaces because it doesn't have any bones in its body. Its 8 rubbery arms are attached to its head near its mouth. The octopus's arms are covered with suckers, and these suckers help the octopus to grab and taste things. The octopus can see very far distances, but it cannot hear anything at all. So it cannot hear anything, but it can see. Now, if I thought that the very first sentence was my pop-out sentence, then the rest of the passage should tell me more about that. Let's see if it did. I thought the pop-out sentence was, the octopus has a body unlike any other. Did the rest of this talk about its body? Did it say that its body was like a bag and that it had no bones? It could squeeze into small spaces and it even had legs that were attached to its head? Of course. So I would agree with you that the octopus has a body unlike any other animal would be the pop-out sentence. The pop-out sentence is the main idea. Okay? So that will help you. Also, another strategy that we saw in our strategies cloud was number 2. Who plus what equals the main idea? Mrs. Dec, we cannot do math with words. Yes, we can. But we're not going to do math, I promise. We're going to do reading. But what it's telling us is we can take the who, add the what, and that is going to tell us the main idea. Let's see how this strategy works. So the who plus what strategy. The who is the octopus. So I have a picture of an octopus, which is way cool in this picture. So the who is the octopus. The what is that it has a body unlike any other animal. So if I put both of those together, then my who plus what is going to say the octopus has a body unlike any other animal. That's the main idea. So using either one of those strategies, you could figure out the main idea. Oh, Mrs. Dec, you've made this so much easier for me. I know. Isn't that cool? Today, we are going to use these strategies with today's Scholastic News. And I'm so excited about this because this passage is called This Plant Stinks. So he's standing beside this really tall plant. Look at this. So here is some of the leaves, and then here's this big shoot that's out of the top, and it's bigger than he is. And he's standing there, and he's like, man, this plant is stinky. Have you ever had that happen? Man, you walk by, you're like, something stinks. We have it all the time in the classroom, don't we? But we're not going to go there right now. We are going to, however, try to zoom in and see what the caption is on this particular passage. So let's scroll down just a little bit and see if we can find those words. Make sure I've got them all there. Okay, it says, roses are red, tulips smell sweet. This giant plant stinks like old meat. This flower smells bad, and it's not the only one. Turn the page to learn about 3 gross plants. I like things gross. Do you guys like things gross? I just like to learn about all these cool things. So before we even move forward, I want to ask you, what do you think our main idea is if we just look at the title and we look at that roses are red kind of thing? Says this plant stinks. And look at the title of that. It's called a corpse flower. Do you know what a corpse is? It's like a dead body. So this has kind of got a really cool name for the flower because it smells dead, like rotten meat. Could be a dead carcass of a bird or a deer here lately. So the main idea could be plants that stink. Flowers that smell bad. It's got this flower smells bad. But before we decide, those are a couple of ideas. Before we decide, let's go ahead and let's look at the next page. So at the top of our page, it says world's grossest plants. So it says, as you read, think about what helps each gross plant survive. Our world is full of cool plants. Some of them smell wonderful. Some of them look beautiful, but some of them are gross. We found 3 of the world's grossest plants. Learn all about them if you dare. Let's look at stinky plant. So the heading or subheading is stinky plant, but we're still kind of leaning towards flowers that stink. But we have stinky plants. Let's go ahead and read this. It says the Rafflesia plant is big and red and bumpy. It is also stinky. It smells like rotten meat. That might sound gross to you, but not everyone feels that way. Some insects eat rotten meat. The Rafflesia plant smells good to them. They think they're smelling a tasty meal. They crawl around on the flower and they get covered in dusty pollen. And I'm sure Miss Roy has talked to you through your plants unit about the pollen sticking to its legs and they're able to pollinate other plants. It says the insects fly away and they carry the pollen to other Rafflesia plants, and the pollen helps these plants make new seeds. One day, those seeds are sprout, and they will make more stinky plants to grow somewhere new. So here is a picture of the Rafflesia plant, and it has pollen dust way down in here, and they are pollinating all of the plants. So if I was thinking about the main idea, this plant stinks, or plants that stink, am I on the right track still? Am I still getting information about that? Yes. Now, would we say that the whole passage is about the Rafflesia plant? Not necessarily, because it said that there were 3 kinds of plants, didn't it? So we couldn't say that the main idea is definitely that, but that it stinks. Now, we are still going to do some thinking about our text. And the first question says, what do insects do when they smell the Rafflesia plant? Well, they go to it, right? It says that they go to it and they get pollen on themselves. So let's go ahead and let's add that in to our notes-taking sheet. I can't spell today. Sometimes I do really good. And some days it's like I cannot get my fingers to type the way that they should. They go to it and they get pollen on themselves. How does what the insect do help the plant? Well, we learned that it pollinates the plant. It causes it to have other seeds or grow other seeds to make new plants. So, how are we going to write that? We're going to say it helps the plant create seeds. See? Can't get it. Can't get that S. Seeds. It helps the plant create seeds to make new plants. Awesome. So that is the end of that section. Now we are going to go to the part that says slimy plant. And you're actually going to see this picture on the next screen. I'll show it to you, and it's also in your independent reading. But let's learn about the slimy plant. It says smell isn't the only gross way for plants to get what they need. Take a look at this Sierra mixed corn plant. It looks like it has gooey red fingers growing out of it. Those slime-covered things are the roots. And let's look at it. Slime-covered things. Look at it. Look at all that slime and goo. It looks like little fingers coming out. It is the roots. It says most roots grow under the ground and they soak up nutrients from the soil. Nutrients are what living things need to stay strong and healthy. But a Sierra mix grows its roots in the air. Its roots are covered with a thick slime called mucus. The mucus looks disgusting, but it has an important job. The mucus pulls nutrients right out of the air. The corn plant grows strong and it is healthy and gross. So we look at that plant again and look at it as just oozing slime and mucus. That is pretty cool. All right, so let's go to our question and our thinking question about this section. Says what part of the Sierra mix is slimy, and it is the roots. And the roots are on the outside and not in the ground. The roots are the slimy parts of the plant. All right, awesome. So the next questions on number 4 and 5, we will talk about when we join back together to finish reading this together. Now, before we meet, if you have time, go ahead and pull up your independent practice and finish reading that. Finish reading this section. There's one called the toilet plant. I can't wait for you to read about that. But before we leave together, I want us to talk about what do you think our main idea is. Do you think our main idea, which we talked about earlier, could be plants that stink? Could it be, what does this one say? It's the title of the section is called The World's Grossest Plants. So what are you thinking? I'm thinking that plants stink. It kind of got us excited and interested in it. But I don't think that our mucus plant really did have a lot of stinky properties. It just was gross. So I like the title that says the world's grossest plants. So our main idea could be that there are plants, some plants are gross in the world. So it's still using the title, but it's writing it kind of in a sentence. Some plants are gross in the world, or the world has gross plants. Something like that would be our main idea. And then all of these little sections that we're learning about the plants, those are the key details. But the overall part of the story is about gross plants. Would you agree? Okay. So go ahead and finish reading that. Go ahead and do your independent practice if you have time to do that before we jump back on together. Go ahead and do your answers. Now, remember, there's nothing to do on the slideshows. I just put those in case you want to look at them or read it, blow it up so you can see it better. Always, you can go back and watch my video again. but nothing to do on the whole slide presentation. The only thing that you have to do for me is click on the independent practice that is separate, and you will see these slides, okay? You're going to see these 4 slides or 5 slides. You're going to see the rest of the passage. Remember, you can click here and blow it up. You're going to see your questions. Remember, you're going to click right here in the corners. Keep clicking until you find them. If they're not there, I will definitely stick them there. And then you have some vocabulary to read, some science vocabulary: mucus, nectar, nutrients, pollen. I want you to pretend that this is like reading a dictionary or a glossary, and it's going to tell you what those words mean. Okay, so that's what a glossary and a dictionary does. Is you can use it to look for the word. This is how you say it. If you were going to say it, you would say nutrients or pollen. So it kind of tells you phonetically how to say it. And then there are some questions. So what you're going to do is possibly, I might need to put those in for you. There's one. There's one. Okay, so these are in there. So you just click behind the answer, and then if you want to, you can just put like an X there or something. So you could do like a Shift X to fill in the box for your answer. But those boxes, just keep clicking around and those boxes should appear for you. Let me see if they will. Just before I turn you loose, make sure that, yeah, there we go. Okay, so I will make sure that the question sheet has the boxes on there before you guys get started. Then at the very end, it is what is something that I learned today as a reader. Man, I should have some really cool sentences there, because as a reader today, you learned some really cool and gross stuff. So I can't wait to read what you put that you learned today. And then if you struggled with something, I've had a couple of people say, I was able to read it. I haven't had any trouble. I would be a level 3. That's fine. But if you struggled on a word, or if you were unsure of a question, or you needed help, I needed to ask my mom about this, or I needed to ask for help about this, that's fine. This is where you would put that for me to see, so that I can look and see how you're doing. All right. Remember, at any time, you can reach out to me and I can help you out. You can email me, dojo me, whatever you want to do. If you need help, call me. I will be available for you. Also, since today is the end of our unit and tomorrow will be our quiz, make sure today, if there is something that you don't understand about key details, topic, main idea, to let me know. Okay. And you can always go back and watch these videos. Remember, you don't have to write the main idea. You just have to find the main idea in a group of sentences. So for the quiz, I'll give you a question. What was the main idea of this passage? And then it'll be multiple choice, and you pick which one you think. So it's not going to be as hard as writing it on your own. Okay. Let me know if you need something, and I will talk to you guys soon.